everybody. So I'm going to be recording our classes now, and I will put that in the link that's right below. So you'll see recording of today's live class. Just in case you miss it for some reason, you can come back and see what's going on. So many of you have submitted a screenshot of your SAT, and that is great. So please continue working on that if you have not got that finished. Get it finished. All right, still waiting for people to get here. And then I just made a little video. I always check that out all the time, to communicate something to you. I like to usually do it in video form. So with normal days, so this is like the first day of test prep. So the pre-test, everyone does that. And basically whatever the teacher of that particular rotation does with the grade on it, they'll do. And then you move on to learning about that particular area. So where you're gonna go, you can just every day tap on math lessons. There it is, and you've already done these two here. And now today is linear equations. So bam, tap on that, and you get this. So what you're gonna wanna pay attention to is the red. Now I haven't put the solutions video up yet because there's still some people working on the pre-test. So later on this week, probably the most important thing you can do this week is go back and view these video solutions. And if you didn't write your answers down, I wanted you to write your answers down so that you could maybe see how, if you got it right or wrong. Anyway, so I'm going to put these towards the end of the week, post these up, and all you need to do is view because you've already done the test. And every day there is a quiz over the topic of the day. So my stuff is on this side, and however you want to do this, maybe you just want to watch the solutions video. Maybe you want to try working a few problems out for yourself. It doesn't really matter to me. But when you go to take this linear equations quiz, which you can do twice, your score will automatically get posted up into, so my view is this. We'll go to grades. Oh, come on. My old and slow computer. So we'll get posted here, how you did out of 5. So haven't really decided yet. So I'm sure some people won't take it very seriously and they'll get real low scores, and then I might just use those scores. I might just give you 111 for doing everything. I haven't really figured it out yet, but do your best on them for sure. And that's what's going to take if you want to do better. But I am going to say this, the red stuff, I'm just jumping around here, in any of these is very important to do. When we get to day 4, Thursday, you're actually going to have practice problems that you should do that are on another SAT. And so whether you want to do those, watch the solutions video, whatever, I think it's very important to constantly expose yourself to these practice problems. That's the number one thing. The Khan Academy is just Khan Academy practice over this. So whatever you want to do, and basically I think it's on the student version, you can do next or previous, like once you're into this view, here's tomorrow's. So every day has one to do, and you need to do that every day. So what I'm going to do today is just talk about a very important, my overhead going here. So this is, if you did pick up a paper packet, this is in there, or it's on the video, I go through all the problems. But what I want to stress is a couple of things to start off with. That the SAT just like is absolutely psycho about, and they are absolutely psycho about fractions and like having them multiply to eliminate fractions. And it's a big strategy. And I'm going to highlight that in a couple of these. And also remember, can't you just, problem 2. Oops, that's a little blurry there. Can't you just, all right, is it 3? 3 goes in, you get 3 over 3 is 1, 5 over 4 is not 1, so it can't be 3. Yes. So when you're in the heat of battle, do what you need to do to answer the question. But techniques that I show you, there will be questions where you're forced to learn how to multiply to eliminate denominators. I promise you, this is a strategy. And when you see these denominators, you should think about that. But on a problem like 2, can't you just do the guess and check? Absolutely. 4 over 3. Is that equal to 4 plus 2, 6 over 4? It is not. So absolutely you can guess and check if that's going to work. 6 over 3, that's 2. 6 plus 2, 8 over 4, that's 2. There's the answer. I got it a lot quicker than if I had went and shown all my work. Okay, so be very aware of test-taking strategies. Not all the time can you do this though, so I am going to show you how to multiply to eliminate denominators. So you look at all your denominators and you say, what's something that the 3 and the 4 both go into? And that answer is 12. And so you're going to multiply left to right everything by 12 so that we knock out the 3 and the 4. So you get a 12K over 3 on the left. That would be 4K. Now again, in actually taking the test, you shouldn't be doing this. You should just be substituting in, guessing and checking, and moving forward. But you'll be forced to learn this skill. So here, however you want to do this, this is like saying 12 times K plus 2 over 4. When you do, so the 12 over 4 is 3 in front of the parentheses. And yep, this is a lot of work, but again, they're going to test you on this multiplying and then subtract the 3K over to eliminate fractions. You need to practice it. You need to try random problems. Almost all their linear equations. So what's a linear equation? The solution is the variables are to the first power. There's not variables in a denominator. It's all the steps you learned in Algebra 1 to solve these simple linear equations. Multiplying to eliminate parentheses, simplify on both sides, collect all your variable terms on one side, constants on the other, and then divide through. That's what linear equations are. Another good example is problem 4. Multiply through left to right by 7, and I'm going to do that really quick, plus 5x equals 7. And this would be one where you really would want to know this, because if you're trying to do this, oh, I forgot to say, without a calculator, so you got to pay attention to this. No calculator. So I'm sure some of you went through that section and went, oh my word, how am I ever going to get through this without a calculator? Fair comment, that's for sure. So I'm going to skip around with the short amount of time that I have and just talk about a few of these. Still notice the no calculator. So word problems with linear functions. You have to think in terms of, how do I want to do this? Like b plus mx equals y. So I wrote that all messed around. but literally this is, and sometimes it's B plus MX on one side, then another B plus MX on the other side. It's on both sides, in other words. That's how you have to think when you come across a linear type of problem. So you see this, and literally it is what you think. The work is what you think. Subtract 3 and B's per minute. So the rate's negative. You're losing 3 a minute, and then you end up with 400. These are almost problems where you can do this mentally also. So I lost 600 B's, and so 3M is 600, and so it must be 200. Good enough. Okay, good enough. Think in terms of this. Your B is your starting amount. The M is some rate that's being applied. And so how do you know what the rate is? Look for the word per, and it can be negative. So when you're losing 3 B's per minute, that's a negative 3. And then you end up with Y is what you end up with. And solve it. And again, it's all is good with mental approach. Sometimes it's quicker and sometimes it's better. And pretty much all of these are very much like, and I've said to skip a couple on here. Maybe there's just a couple, only a couple on all these assignments that I gave, I think 18 too. Just the wording is, they can be done, but the wording is something that you probably wouldn't see on the SAT, although SAT loves to be wordy. Talk about this second page here. I'm going to leave lots for you to look at and do. There's always controversy on problem 17 and with interpreting this, so I'll try to do a little bit of interpreting in this problem for you. What you have to assume is that the pond loses 6 inches per year. So for each of the first 6 months of the year, a pond gains 5 inches, and then for each of the last 6 months of the year, the pond loses 6 inches. So it's per month -1 as you combine. So you've got 6 5s and then 6 minus 6s. So that's 6 minus 1s. So there was a little bit of controversy with that. So if the height of the water in the pond after 3 years is 50 inches, how much was there at the beginning? So this is the whole B plus MX equals Y thinking. And so we actually don't know the B. So we'll put question mark there. And then it loses 6 inches per year. There's your rate for 3 years. And you ended up with 50. So I just wanted to interpret that a little bit for you. So you need to figure out what is question mark there. I guess I could have called that B just for the sake of. Okay. But there's all these good questions to work through. I think they're good to try a few of these and work through them. 14 is a real can be a real struggle. So here's one that's decent. See one like this quite a bit. Okay, so John's salary includes a base salary of $1,700 per month, plus a commission of 20% of the monthly car sales in dollars. If his salary in June was $8,700, how much sales in dollars did he have in June? So you're starting with 1700. That's your B value. You're trying to do this. And then the rate is 20%. And then your X is your sales, and then you end up with 8,700. So there's a little bit different application of the linear function type of approach. Here's the deal though. You need to be able to solve this without a calculator. I'm going to say this on this. There are times when I'm just going to tell you, I'll relent and say, use a calculator for the sake of finishing a problem. And I would say if you're a little bit clever on this, you may not have to. So decimal place movement. So if you said 20x, then you got to add 2 zeros over here. And then put your, so 700,000 divided by 20. That is 35,000, meant to be done without a calculator. But if you're stuck, I would want you to finish the problem and use a calculator. So that's okay if you get stuck on a few. But practice through a few of these. The big thing, every day that you do something, it's too bad that we're not live because I give you a strategy every day. What's the big strategy? You need to know, and the problem is it looks different all the time. How can I eliminate denominators? And the answer is you multiply through on both sides to do it. So this goofy thing here means x plus 3 over 16 is 1/2. So to eliminate the 16 and the 2, multiply both sides by 16. And so what I meant to say is that a lot of times this just looks different each time. And it's not an easy thing to learn, but it's a very good thing to learn because look how much simpler this problem became. X plus 3 equals 8. Okay, and then 5 is the, and again, in a situation like this, it might be easier just to put your answers in and do the guess and check game. I get that, and you always want to be aware of that. But you do want to learn how to eliminate denominators by multiplying. And then maybe look at a few of these basic problems. One last little thing here before I end. So the SAT loves putting hard questions early. Be aware of that and don't obsess over a really hard question early on in the test. And sometimes they can involve, these questions dealing with linear functions because students will say, well, I should be able to solve this. I should be able to do this. And then they end up spending a crazy amount of time on a question that they end up getting wrong anyway. Okay, so be aware of that. There are terribly simple questions at the end of every SAT, and they're worth the same amount. And don't get stuck and dwell on anything that's just not going to pay you dividends on the test. So look at this, maybe watch the video where I cover all the problems, and then do the quiz, and you'll have done for today what you need to get done. And then don't forget, if you need to finish the SAT, that you need to submit that to me. All right. Happy Monday.